Good morning, students. How are you all? Fine? Doing great? Okay. So, today we'll see the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. Clear? Now, John Keats was born in the year 1795. He had a very short span of his writing career. He started writing in the year 1815, and in the year 1821 he died. So that 6 years of his writing career had seen him to touch with the great writers, you can say. He was being, you can say, compared with the time of Shakespeare. Okay, Shakespeare, as you all know, that he is being referred as the father of drama. In the same way, John Keats was also being referred as one of the greatest poets of romantic period, you can say. And he was also been called as a romantic poet. Now, what do you mean by a romantic poet? A romantic poet is a one who writes about the nature's beauty. Clear? He's one of the best poems, you can say, it is Endymion. Now, Endymion is a poem, you can say, Endymion, a poetic romance. Endymion is a collection of poems or a book, you can say, in which this particular poem is being taken from, that excerpt is being taken from, that is A Thing of Beauty. In this particular poem, you can say Endymion is the protagonist. He moves around in search of ideal beauty. He fall in love with Cynthia, the moon goddess, and he looks each and every place, okay, to the forest, under the sea. But ultimately, he realizes that the beauty lies in the nature, not with the human beings, you can say. Clear? The ideal beauty. So this poem talks about the quest for ideal beauty. And ultimately, he realizes that the nature's beauty is the real beauty or the ultimate beauty, you can say. Clear? We can say that John Keats, actually, he was being trained to be a surgeon. But very soon he lost interest in this, you can say, surgery and all. And slowly he switched on to writing. And later on he thought that he continued with his career as a poet also. Clear? A poet only. But sadly, you can say the writing span was very short, and within a span of 6 years, he died. Clear? So this is what it's all about. And a very important poetic device which is being used in this particular poem is allegory. Now, what do you mean by that word allegory? Allegory is a literary composition in which the characters, the events, and the places have been shown in a symbolic way. They have symbolic meaning rather than literary meaning. Clear? So that is very important in this particular poem. The poem is divided into 3 stanzas, 1, 2, and 3, and one by one we'll see each and every stanza. And the very important part is that the poet searches for the real beauty, and he comes to know that real beauty lies in nature, not in the human being. So that is the quest for, you can say, the real beauty. That is the most important part. Okay, so let's see the first stanza. Now let's start the poem. Let's see the first stanza. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us, full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. Now see, when the poem starts with, or the first line, it says, a thing of beauty is a joy forever. It will never pass into nothingness. It means beautiful things will never come to an end. But you need to know, I'm talking about the nature's beauty. You have been given with abundance of beauty in the nature. Okay? But the nature's beauty will never come to an end. But when it talks about the human beauty, it will start deteriorating. Because human beauty is mortal and nature's beauty is immortal. It will always remain as it is. Clear? Now, as the poem continues, the poet says that, but it will keep a bower quiet for us and sleep full of sweet dreams. Now, the nature provides you with the shade, a bower. See, what does bower means? A bower means a shady place. Okay, a place where you can sit, you can enjoy the nature. You have sweet dreams, you have ecstasy, a life which is being filled with enjoyment, happiness, because you are in the midst of the nature. And that's what the poet says, that every morning when you get up, you need to be surrounded. Okay, you need to be surrounded by the nature. You need to be in the midst of the nature. And then you can enjoy the real nature. Then you will always be happy. And if you want to be happy, you need to always connect to the nature. Because nature is the ultimate source of happiness. Okay? Nature is the ultimate source of happiness, not the beauty of people. Because here the poet says He is in search of the real beauty, the quest for the real beauty. And the real beauty lies in the nature, not with the human being. Because human being's beauty is mortal and nature's beauty is immortal, you can say. Now see, therefore, in every morrow means every morning, are we breathing? Breathing means we need to be surrounded. A flowery band to bind us to the earth. You need to be surrounded with the nature. You need to be in the midst of the nature, and then you can connect to that nature. That will make you happy. This is what the first stanza tells you about. Am I clear? Okay? Now see the second stanza. Clear? Now before we start with the second stanza, the first stanza talks about that you need to be with the nature. Clear? You will be happy. But life is not bed of roses. It is a mixture of problems and sorrows. Okay? It is a mixture of happiness and sadness, you can say. So the poet says that in spite of despondence, a human life is filled with happiness and sorrows, you can say. So in spite of despondence, in spite of sadness, when humans are being faced with, and the problems, or you can say the reason behind those problems that comes to the human life, it is the human beings only. Because we are in dearth of something. You can say the lack of something. We lack with noble values, the virtues that we need to have, that we lack. Yes or no? Yes. So he says that we human beings are always in greed. We always want more and more, and we don't satisfy ourselves. And in that situation, what we do, the things which are there with us, we are not happy with those things also. And we are always in demand of more and more. That is the first problem that we have been given with. Now see the poem. I'll read the poem for you. Now, in spite of despondence, of inhuman dearth, dearth here means lack of noble values, you can say, of noble natures, noble values, of gloomy days and all the unhealthy and the over darkened ways. He says the problems for the human beings are unhealthy ways. When your health condition is not good, you will not be able to enjoy your life. You won't be happy. Yes or no? He says the problems, okay, and those problems are the noble values and the noble virtues. The moral values that it's need to be there with the human being, we lack those things. And the greed for more and more, that is something which is the ultimate sadness that gives to the human being, you can say. Okay? He says of those gloomy days and all the unhealthy and the over darkened ways made for our such searching. So he says the problems will come to you, the problems will come to your life, but the only thing is that you need to overcome those problems. You need to face those challenges in your life and you need to move forward. And the best way to overcome those problems is that you need to be in the midst of the nature. You need to look forward. What is there in the nature? How nature can teach you, how nature can help you to overcome those problems. And the poet says that there are those objects in the nature that can help you to overcome those problems which have come to your life. And they are, and see what it says. Yes, in spite of all, some shades of beauty moves away the pall. The pall here means P-A-L-L, pall, the dark spirits, the despondency, the melancholy, the sadness, the dejection, what has come to your life, that can be removed, and that can be removed only through the some objects which are there in the nature. And then you will be happy. Now those objects in the nature, what are they? Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boom. Now the poet says, now there are so many objects in the nature. The first he says the sun. The sun is the ultimate source of energy. It is the powerhouse, you can say. It gives the happiness, it gives the motivation to move forward. And when you look at the sun, it gives the energy to you. Such the sun, the moon. The moon tells you the calmness, the coolness. Okay? Trees young. Trees young shows the activeness. Trees old, it says the experience. and sprouting a shady boon. A boon is a blessing for you. So the nature has given you so many blessings. It has given you abundance of happiness. But the only thing is that you need to find the nature. You need to look for the nature. Instead of looking to the nature, what we do, we look for materialistic things and we waste our time. So when you are sad, it's always better to be with the nature, to be in the nature, to be in the midst of the nature. Try to spend some time with the nature. There are some more things what the poet says. He says more. For simple sheep and such are daffodils. A simple sheep can also be a source of happiness for a person. And a golden daffodils. A group of daffodils. Yes or no? Yes. A golden daffodils which moves, which sways from here and there. It can also be a source of happiness for you. With the green world they live in, the green world refers to the forest here. And the clear rills. The rills are the stream, the beautiful flowing water. So these all are the source of happiness for you. Now see, I told you already the poem has been given with allegory. Okay? And allegory means the characters, the places and the events, they all are being given with the symbolic meaning. And I've already used the symbolic meaning over here. That is the sun, okay, the source of energy, the moon, which shows the calmness, the trees young, okay, the energetic, and trees old, experience, a shady boon, a blessing for you. Yes or no? They all show the symbolic meaning. Though they have a literal meaning, I know literal meaning is a different one, but in this particular poem, the poet has portrayed the symbolic meaning. Clear? For themselves, a cooling covert make. And these all beautiful things that make the person happy. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. So let's see the third stanza. Okay. Against the hot season, the midsummer forest brake, rich with sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. Now here poet has used an oral imagery, a visual imagery. An imagery has been created in front of you. He says, just imagine a situation. You're in the midst of the forest. Okay? You can see the beautiful scenery over there. You're in the midst of the forest, you can see the rills, the stream which has been flowing over there. There's a rock, you're sitting on the top of the rock and you can see that the water, the clear water. You can see the fair musk, there's a wild rose which blooms over there and the fragrance of that bloom comes to you and the water is cool and that entire environment, the entire atmosphere, it's a cooling cupboard for you. This is the source of happiness the nature has provided you. This is the visual imagery the poet has created here. Okay, this is what the visual imagery is all about. It makes the person happy because this is the blessing of nature. This is the blessing of nature where you're in the nature, you will forget all your worries and your sadness. You will be rejuvenated to live your life to the fullest. That is what the visual imagery has been created by the poet here. Now see, and with rich of sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms. We have imagined for the mighty dead. Now these are the two very important lines over here. Listen very carefully. Now the poet says that for a human being, you can say the nature is the ultimate source of energy. When he looks at the nature, he is very happy. But instead, you have one more thing. Okay, along with this, you have one more thing, and that is the stories, or you can say the sacrifices which are being made by the great people. When you read the stories of great people, they are also a source of inspiration for you. They are also a source of motivation for you. And their stories can also make you feel proud and feel happy. As like the nature provides you happiness, in the same way, the people, the grandeur means the proudness, the mighty dead, the people, those who have done something great in their life, they have achieved success in their life. They have contributed their life for the development, for the pride of the nation. That is something which is very, very important. So he says, the poet says here, there are two things. One is the nature's beauty, and the other one, the source of inspiration, is the people, those who have achieved greatness in their life. You have read, or see what it says. We have imagined for the mighty dead all the lovely tales that we have heard or read. See, those lovely tales, those beautiful stories, those stories would have been said by someone to you, or you might have read those stories. But that is also a source of inspiration for you. And at last, the poem ends with the two beautiful lines over here. Listen carefully. All the lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring onto us from the heavens bring. Beautiful lines. See here. He says, an endless fountain of immortal drink, a bounty. The nature is being filled with bountiness, happiness, ecstasy, you can say. It has been given with immortal drink. An immortal drink means something which will keep on coming to you. It will never come to an end. It is ample of beauty. Okay, it will never come to an end. But the only thing is that we need to look for that particular beauty. If we want to be happy, we need to look for that particular beauty. That is something the poet wants to convey to you in this poem. Clear? Hope you understood the poem. Read the poem once and you will be able to understand the concept, the symbolic, this is symbolism and the allegory and all those things which I have explained to you. Thank you.